From classrooms to corner offices, digital learning has become the default for anyone looking to learn, reskill, or stay competitive. Used well, education technology can dramatically accelerate learning. But used inefficiently or with poorly created applications, it becomes expensive software with little impact and for many students, simply a distraction. Since the pandemic-driven surge, the sector has boomed, but funding is tightening and expectations are rising. So is the industry facing a reality check. I'm Divya Gopalan. This is Connected on Taiwan Plus. To give us a lesson in education technology, we welcome Camila Sáenz, the founder of Tuteemi, a Taiwan-based tutor matching platform, joining us from Guatemala City. And speaking to us from San Francisco is Christian Van Der Henst, the co-founder of Platzi. That's one of the largest Spanish language tech education platforms in Latin America. Great to have you both on the program, and I'm going to start with you, Camila. Firstly, what is your definition of education technology?
I believe that EdTech is just the combination of education with technology, like just giving access to people to learn new things through technology, with the help of technology. Yeah.
Very simply put. And Christian, what about you?
EdTech is the label that startups focused on education got in the last decade. But I would like to connect EdTech more with the concept of curiosity, because thanks to the internet, it allows everyone to be curious enough to educate themselves. So every platform that allows you to be curious, for me, creates EdTech.
Right. So on that note, Camila, in my mind, one of the biggest promises of technology-enhanced education is the fact that you can tailor it to your needs or to your level of progress. How's the platform like yours capitalizing on it, Tuteemi?
Well, at Tuteemi, we basically try to find the most suitable tutor that is a foreigner living in Taiwan that can arrive in the Taiwanese home to teach either English, Spanish, French, or other topics. So we tailor the class, not only the class, but also the personality of the tutor that matches with the student's needs.
Right. We're going to talk a lot more about that a little later in the discussion. But before we do that, Christian, the freedom to personalize is probably more important to adult learners in many ways, who have more of a choice of what services they can use or what they want to get out of it. So how does your platform cater to that?
There was a very important paper, the 2 Sigma paper, that says that the more that you customize education for a student, the better completion you're going to get. And that has always been an important North Star. I believe that, especially today, because of AI, we're going to get into a point where every single human in the world is going to have a customized education curriculum for themselves, their abilities and their wishes, capabilities, and job opportunities that exist. So we're there, and we just haven't been able to develop the technology as fast and at this fast page. But I do believe that every human has a way to learn and retain information. And thanks to technology, we can build them something very custom.
All right, so I want to take a wider look at the industry. Let's take a look at the current and future size of the EdTech sector. The industry is expected to double in size in the next 5 years and triple in the span of a decade, maintaining an impressive average annual growth rate of over 13%. That's according to the market intelligence company Precedence Research. Now, Christian, this speaks to the point you made at the beginning when I asked you about the definition of EdTech, and you said that there are a lot of companies just jumping on the bandwagon, not necessarily presenting what they promise or what the purpose of EdTech is. And to that point, according to the World Economic Forum, despite the promises of democratization or egalitarian education, EdTech companies have become bigger, but not necessarily more educational. And that's what the World Economic Forum's paper a few years ago had proclaimed. Now, where do you think EdTech is failing, or the promise of EdTech is failing to get such a response from the World Economic Forum and perhaps many people's experiences? Christian.
So one of the biggest challenges is that how are you using technology? Are you using technology to work? Are you using technology to learn? Or are you using technology to play and to entertain? And right now, a lot of the marketing budgets of the world are about capturing your information. There's all this social media that sells you the opportunity to connect with your friends and family, and then kind of like steals your attention. So the biggest challenge that education has is that we need to be practical, we need to be concise, but we also need to be entertaining. Some companies have been extremely successful. Probably the biggest one, another Guatemalan. By the way, Guatemalan is really big into EdTech. Built Duolingo. That's an app that has a lot of people challenging that it's not as good for learning, but it attracts people with an objective of learning. So I kind of feel like as platforms, every EdTech is fighting for attention. And once they capture your attention and your intent into learning, you have to really deliver and show that progress. Completion was one of our biggest goals at Platzi. And I feel like every EdTech founder is trying to build a tool that will engage the user, keeps them entertained, but also delivers into teaching them.
Camila, you've still focused, although it is you are using technology, you're still focused on the human-centered aspect of it. So given the concerns that we've heard about, the promises of EdTech and how many companies are actually not delivering, what are your biggest concerns about the way EdTech is going, particularly in the fact that a lot more onus is given to the technology rather than what you're saying is that human-to-human aspect?
I think nowadays like at Tuteemi, we see the pros of basically combining AI with the human touch. So now with the help of AI, we've partnered and also invested in this startup where like students can practice the rest of the days, where maybe the tutor is not getting to their house. They can still practice and the tutor can see the results, the pronunciation, like where the problems are. And I believe with AI's help, the student might be able to improve a lot faster. But I do believe a combination of both is still needed, because at the end of the day, when we're speaking to people, it's not a computer. So the human touch, especially when it comes to languages and like body language, I personally believe that like we still need people to kind of teach us a bit from that angle.
Right. So, Christian, going back to the statistic that the industry is expected to double in size over the next 5 years and triple in the span of a decade, how much do you think AI is behind this, is the driver of this growth engine? And how are you competing with AI in a certain, in a way, I could just go to ChatGPT to help me with my language skills?
Oh, definitely. Everyone's using ChatGPT, and I feel like it's going to be one of the biggest challenges. But it's not only competing with my platform, it's competing with every single education tool that exists. It's competing with books, it's competing with schools, it's competing with teachers' attention. And I do believe that we're going to start getting used to having that mentor, that AI persona helping us. And what's exciting, at least from the Platzi perspective, and something that we really came to build, is we build a very important community, because schools are communities. Schools are clubs. And if you build a cool community where people want to come and learn, that really helps. Schools allow you to connect with your peers, with your industry, with your dreams.
Camila, you were in Taiwan. You were in Taiwan for quite a period of time, and you built Tuteemi in Taiwan as your business over the past 6 years before moving back to Guatemala. What were your observations about digital learning in Taiwan, given that cram schools are still very popular? Is Taiwan society ready to make that leap and kind of give more to digital rather than the traditional face-to-face learning, as the education system here is quite traditional?
I think it's a very tricky question because I do feel like the cram school system is just very cultural, right? Like if your kids are not going to a cram school, as a parent, you're almost weird. Like, why are you not sending your kids to a cram school? But I do believe, like with big platforms like Tutor ABC, Amazing Talker, parents have been more open to the idea. Also during COVID, when some of the students had to jump to online learning, there is that possibility. But I do believe that maybe in Taiwan, they still really appreciate the human touch and having that respect for a professor or a teacher that can help you or guide you through the process.
All right, and speaking of regions, Christian, Platzi has grown into one of the biggest digital learning platforms across Latin America. What differences are you seeing between Latin America and Asia in terms of preference and language learning preference? And is this part of the world somewhere you feel could be a big market for you?
One of the biggest challenges that I love Latin America, and I would have definitely focus on that market, but I would say that it's also a challenging market, and it also has to come with values. Asian societies really value education. I remember when I was introduced to the concept of Tiger Mom, for example, I never saw it as something bad, quite different. So I like to make this joke whenever I'm comparing those two markets, that in Asia, no matter how much you study, your parents will feel like it's not enough. Latin America works differently. When I graduated from high school, my mom was already proud. It's like, that's great. Congratulations. You can be whatever you want. That will never happen in an Asian country. It's like, okay, perfect. Now go for college, go for the university. We want a scholarship. We want awards. We want this. So I kind of feel like Asian societies have not only the intent created and a big push from families into investing and spending time in education. Latin America, you have to capture that intention more.